In other news, the families of two young girls who were killed in a wrong-way crash on the Sawgrass Expressway are now suing the driver who survived and the owner of the car she was driving. CBS 4's Carrie Codd is live in Fort Lauderdale with details on this lawsuit. Carrie.
Yeah, Elliot, in these lawsuits filed today, attorneys for the victims say the suspected wrong-way driver, Kayla Mendoza, and the owner of the car she was driving, Federico Javier Reyes, are responsible for the crash and for the deaths of these two young women. Also, in these lawsuits, we are learning that the families say this is just one part of their mission to make sure no other families go through the pain that they are.
She's not coming home. This is real.
Gary Catronio says every so often it hits him. His daughter Marissa will never again walk through the doors of the family's Coral Springs home, and Caitlin Ferrante will never again give her mom Christina a hug. The best friends were killed last month on the Sawgrass Expressway when they were hit by a wrong-way driver. The Florida Highway Patrol says Kayla Mendoza hit and killed them. These two families hope their lawsuits against Mendoza and their efforts to make safety changes on our highways will ensure a crash like this never happens again.
And other families are not going to go through what we do. You know, you're not going to get a phone call at 5 in the morning and say your daughter's no longer with you.
The lawsuit also names Mendoza's boyfriend, Federico Javier Reyes, as a defendant because he owned the car she was driving. He told CBS 4 News last week that he allowed Mendoza to drive his car and that he was unaware she did not have a license. In our interview, he apologized to the victims' families.
I'm extremely sorry. I'm extremely sorry. At least I got to see her again. You know what I mean? And I can't fathom that thought of you guys not being able to see them again.
Reyes told me he didn't know if Mendoza had been drinking before the crash. Attorneys say one of the ways they'll be able to get answers like that is by filing a lawsuit and interviewing witnesses.
I want to know what this young girl was doing 24 hours before this terrible wrong-way accident.
Neither the families nor the lawyers would comment on these videos of Kayla Mendoza on the social media site Vine, entitled Beer and Wake and Bake. They also wouldn't speak directly about the infamous Too Drunk to Care tweet on Mendoza's Twitter page from just hours before the crash. The families are focused on preventing another wrong-way crash and on coping with the losses of two vibrant, happy children who had their entire lives ahead of them.
Yeah, how do you put a smile on your face, you know, and do your job when inside you're broken up and torn?
No charges have been filed at this point. The Florida Highway Patrol tells us they're still waiting the results of those toxicology tests to determine if Mendoza was under the influence of alcohol. An FHP crash report that we obtained shows that investigators believe she may have been drinking. Live in Fort Lauderdale, Carrie Codd, CBS 4 News.
Carrie.